Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Evans and I will be doing the second half of our condition presentation on gender dysphoria. Mary did a great job introducing our presentation to everyone and talking about gender dysphoria and some of the frequently used terms and their definitions. Mary gave an overview of gender dysphoria and the DSM-5 criteria for gender dysphoria in children, as well as the criteria for gender dysphoria in adults. I will be doing the article summary on an article written by Gregor, Davidson, and Hingley Jones in 2014 titled The Experience of Gender Dysphoria for Prepubescent Children and Their Families, a Review of the Literature. Gender dysphoria in children is a topic that continues to be misunderstood among social workers and other mental health and helping professionals. Gregor, Davidson, and Hingley Jones utilize information gathered from previous studies to help these professionals gain a better understanding when working with families and children with gender dysphoria. The authors introduce the topic of gender dysphoria by providing a general overview of the diagnosis and an in-depth look at how gender dysphoria manifests in children. They explain that gender dysphoria manifests when the gender identity of a child or adult is not the same as their biological identity. These individuals typically state, "I am not this gender. I want to be the opposite gender." The topic of family and parent response to a child with gender dysphoria is still not widely talked about or understood by professionals. The authors note that oftentimes individuals with gender dysphoria don't usually disclose their thoughts or feelings until after they are adults. And more often than not, these disclosures are not to their parents or families. Because of these delayed disclosures, often helping professionals aren't connected with parents and families, and the resources available are very minimal. The authors explain that it's difficult to gauge an overall response from parents to their children with gender dysphoria, and typical responses can vary so much. There are, however, 4 common stages to go through that parents go through when their child discloses feelings or behaviors that may constitute a gender dysphoria diagnosis, or when a child is diagnosed with gender dysphoria. These stages are discovery and disclosure, turmoil, negotiation, and finding balance. The discovery and disclosure stage is the first stage in this process. Although sometimes this is anticipated, this initial stage can be traumatic for families and parents of children who are disclosing gender dysphoria behaviors. The next stage is turmoil. This is identified as the chaotic time as families try to come to terms with the reality of gender dysphoria. The third stage is negotiation. This is the adjustment period. Families figure out how to navigate private and public life. The final stage is finding balance. This is identified as the resolution stage, where families become more understanding, and oftentimes the secret of having a child with gender dysphoria goes away. Parental responses during these stages can vary, and gender beliefs and values weigh heavily on these reactions. Parents are often put into 3 categories during this time. The 3 types of parents are the transformers, the transphobic, and the transporters. Transformers are comfortable with their own sexual identity and bonded strongly to their children. They can overcome the obstacles so that they can be supportive and advocate for their children. Transphobic parents are less secure with their own gender identities and see their children as an extension of themselves. They struggle to come to terms with parenting a child with gender dysphoria. The final type of parent is the transporting parents. They have ultimately accepted their child with gender dysphoria, but still struggle with internal issues that they can't quite understand. Ultimately, the authors conclude that social workers and helping professionals need to become more aware and competent about the topic of gender dysphoria. A better understanding of the experiences of children with gender dysphoria and their families is important. Greater intervention and support opportunities would be beneficial for these families so support can be accessible before major familial crises occur. The following video is a TED Talk by Sunny Miller. She shares her experiences with gender dysphoria and when she realized that she no longer wanted to be a boy at the age of 4. Sunny discusses in this video the challenges she has faced, and the lack of support she has from her family. Sunny also discusses the process she will go through to become a woman, and the happiness that she now feels during her transformation. Understanding the life of someone with gender dysphoria is an important part of the social work process to become more competent when working with children and families who are going through this process. Our references are listed below, and this concludes our presentation on gender dysphoria. Thank you.